The increase in forest fires, floods, and storms make it clear that we need solutions to climate change, and we need them now. Fortunately, we know what the solutions are, especially renewable energy. However, some of the technology being promoted to address the climate crisis are actually false solutions that don't work, and could even make things worse. One false solution to climate change is carbon capture and storage. What is it? Both the production and consumption of oil and gas releases greenhouse gases that cause climate change. Carbon capture means capturing some of the carbon dioxide from an oil refinery or power plant before it reaches the atmosphere. Sounds good, but does it work? Hardly. Carbon capture is not a new idea. It has been around for more than 50 years. Most projects never make it off the ground. The small number that do vastly underperform. For example, in Saskatchewan, a carbon capture project at the Boundary Dam Power Station, a coal power plant, promised to capture 90% of emissions, but once running, it has only captured 45% of emissions. Half of what was promised. The captured carbon can either be stored underground or used. Unfortunately, most carbon is actually used to dig up even more oil and gas. But even storing carbon underground comes with risks, and so does transporting the carbon through pipelines. For example, when a carbon dioxide pipeline ruptured in Mississippi in 2020, 300 people were evacuated and 45 people had to be hospitalized. Fossil fuel companies are pushing carbon capture and storage because it means they can keep producing oil and gas. Carbon capture and storage is expensive. And while these companies are making record profits, they are trying to convince governments to give as much as $50 billion of our tax dollars to build more carbon capture projects and pipelines. Carbon capture and storage is a false solution. It has never worked as promised. The carbon is dangerous to transport and is extremely expensive, especially compared to the plummeting costs of renewable energy. But it is also a dangerous distraction because even if you could capture the emissions from fossil fuel production, those fossil fuels would still emit greenhouse gases when they're burned, like to power cars and trucks and planes, and for cooking and heating in buildings. 90% of emissions from oil and gas come from when these fossil fuels are used, not from when they are produced. So when applied only to the production of oil and gas, carbon capture ignores 90% of the problem. Phasing out fossil fuels is a real climate solution. Carbon capture and storage is a false solution. Another false solution is hydrogen. If you remember your periodic table, hydrogen is the first element. You may also remember that while hydrogen is abundant on Earth, it is hard to find on its own, but can be found in bonded forms such as water, H2O, or methane gas, CH4. To get hydrogen on its own, you need to separate it from water or from natural gas, which is mostly methane. Right now, most of the hydrogen produced is from natural gas using a highly polluting process that emits lots of greenhouse gases. So fossil fuel companies have a solution to this pollution problem: carbon capture and storage. As we just saw, that doesn't work. Fossil hydrogen is another fossil fuel, not a climate solution. There is a better way to produce hydrogen: electrolysis. That's the process of splitting water into hydrogen and oxygen. If the electricity used is from renewable sources, then this way of getting hydrogen doesn't produce greenhouse gas emissions. But that doesn't mean hydrogen is a good climate solution. First of all, hydrogen's dirty secret is that if hydrogen leaks before it is used, it has a powerful greenhouse gas effect. Plus, in many cases, you can use electricity directly instead of first using electricity to produce hydrogen. It is way more efficient and affordable to use electricity to heat our homes or power our cars than use hydrogen. But fossil fuel companies are promoting hydrogen because it's an excuse to keep producing polluting natural gas. That's why hydrogen is a false solution. and a distraction from the real solutions of electrification and renewable energy. To find out more about these false solutions to climate change, visit environmentaldefense.ca/false solutions.